Home Care Ops Nation, Kevin Hansen here with Home Care Ops. Today I've got Nick Bonatadabas with me from Digital Champions. So this video is actually going to be a video about making videos and how they can help your home care business. Nick, I know you've been around for a while. I've seen you in other places. You've seen me in other places supporting the home care business, but just kind of give us a short intro of how long you've been working in the home care space, what Digital Champions is up to, and some of the things that you've been able to help home care owners with when it comes to video.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I love an opportunity to share. And so I got started in home care in 2014, started teaching and coaching home care owners in 2016, really about social media and video marketing, and then seeing this huge need for owners and agencies to be able to leverage this powerful tool. And so I've been in business now for Digital Champions for myself for close to 5 years, and we help agencies to increase sales, generate more referrals, and hire top caregivers using the power of video.
Wow, 5 years already. That's gone really fast, Nick.
I know, right? I think about that same thing too. I'm like, man, I can't believe I've been in business this long. Yeah, it's wild.
That's crazy. I remember when you were just taking the stage in front of home care owners. So that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
So
time flies, you know. It's like when I think back and I reflect on, where I've come, it's just like I'm flooded with gratitude. I like cry tears of joy pretty often.
that's awesome. So basically what we're telling you here, home care owners, is you're watching this and we're talking about video and you're watching us hopefully seem pretty comfortable doing video ourselves here right now for the next little bit. You understand we've been there. We've tripped it up. We've had to figure out our voice in this space. We've had to figure out who our audience is and how to communicate and connect with them in video. And one of the things that I've loved about video, because I've been in the tech industry, digital online space for 20 plus years now, is just how much power comes with video. So, I mean, one of the questions people are looking for out there right now is how do they stand out online? And a lot of them try a lot of different things, their website improvements, enhancements, social media, just a bunch of posts, whatever it is. Like, how has video helped agencies you've worked with? How does it help them stand out online?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of done in two ways that work together. And so the first way that people really need to understand their greatest tool, their greatest asset when it comes to marketing their business. And I hear this all the time. People are like, we got the best caregivers. Guess what? If everyone says, if you're in a room full of 100 people, owners, and you say, how many of you guys have the best caregivers? 3/4 of the room is raising their hand. If they're all saying it, it's not what makes you different. And so the number one thing that truly makes you different is your story, your why of why you got into this business. If you've ever heard the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek, I reference it so often, right? He says, people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it.
Mhm.
And that is so much more prevalent in the home care space because what you sell is exactly the same as what every other home care agency is selling, right? A caregiver is coming to your home, they're taking care of your loved one, right? It's very, very similar when you're offering basically the same services. And they want to know that they can trust you. And so if you have a really powerful story, and I've been hearing stories since 2014, and that's what I love about working with home care owners is the reason they got into the business is so powerful in one of two ways. It's either really traumatic, like something
Mhm.
horrible happened, and that's why they did it, or they had an amazing experience, and that's why they did it. It's usually one of those, and there's some outside. Some people, they tell me, they're like, oh, my story's not that great. I'm like, I promise it is. And even the people that tell me that, I hear their stories and it's still powerful, even if it's not one of those things, because we know this business isn't easy. It's very hard. It's very difficult. It takes a very specific type of person. And so the only way that you're even going to survive in this business is if you have the right reasons. So I know that you do. You have this internal guide, this compass in wanting to help people. And so that's kind of like the first thing in that is sharing your story, sharing your why. And, when it comes to having it on your website, sharing it at networking events or lunch and learns and in services with prospective clients, just sharing it constantly. Get comfortable with sharing your story,
Hmm.
get good at it, practice it so that you can really map that out. And then if you want to take it one step further, sorry, did you have a question?
No, you're good. I just,
Okay. um, is putting it on video. And that's where this really becomes this asset that you can now use and leverage again and again, because you only need to record it once and then now it goes on your website and people are watching it. And so when someone comes to your website, this is just like one application of using it, is putting it on your website. There you're already differentiating yourself, because if you go around to your competitors and you look at their websites and you see, hey, how many people on their websites have a personalized video of a real person talking about their business? Not
yeah.
a lot. And so just from this, and then there's other ways. So to give you an example, I know you had mentioned, hey, how are my clients utilizing this?
Hmm.
I have one client and I love looking at his analytics because I manage his YouTube channel and I can just see his why video. And since we published it, it just has been going up, 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 up. And that's purely from organic.
Yeah.
Him simply sharing it on a regular, consistent basis with every single interaction. So that means every caregiver, you're putting it in your automation. Whoever you're using for your caregiver automation, or even if you're not using caregiver automation, you're sending this video to your caregivers. You're sending it to prospective clients. The one thing I love is he sends it to them and he's like, when they're on the fence, these clients are on the fence, boom, they sign up. And so it becomes this sales machine that you can use and leverage.
It's incredible how much more efficient it is for an owner, the marketing, sales teams of a home care agency to do that video and have that message out there one time that they had to say it and produce it, and all the people that get to hear that. And so beyond just the personal efficiency of having fewer conversations personally, but more of an audience for as long as that video exists, like what are some things that people in the home care space should understand about why video is so much more effective as far as a marketing tool? I mean, a lot of people think, well, if I just write my content and I just do my blog posts and I just do social media posts and images alone, that suffices. I know the answer, but why don't you help this audience here, this listening, understand like why video is so much more effective in marketing than the alternatives?
Absolutely. Video is really powerful in so many industries across all businesses, all business types. But what really makes it even more impactful from a home care side of things is that you're taking care of someone's life. Like someone's lives are in your hands. And so that requires a certain trust and credibility that needs to be created in order for someone to want to move forward with you. And anyone can put anything on their website, that just has, hey, we're great. But it takes a lot to like put a real live person on video and making it human. And in a world of like AI and everything that's being created, I mean, anyone can go out and make a website and put, stuff on it. Like blog post, click, done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But to get in front of a camera, talk about your story, talk about education, that takes this barrier that comes up in regards to business and helps to break it down. And what we're trying to do is to really connect with people on a deeper level. And so to give you an example, let's say you're sharing your why video and you're like, I was a caregiver, and then as I was working as a caregiver, my mother needed help, and so then she was really struggling, and all of a sudden we found this amazing home care agency that we hired, and all of a sudden I got my freedom back. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
burnt out because I was trying to care for her so much, and now all of a sudden this home care agency came out and I was able to get my mom back, and I was able to be the daughter that I always wanted to be instead of being the caregiver. So anybody that is the caregiver is now connecting with you on a personal level of like, that's how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I feel burnout. I want to be the daughter again instead of just constantly being the caretaker, right? And so we're able to break down those barriers. That's like one way. The
So
second way,
video definitely hits on more of the senses for sure.
right. And that's part two, right? Is understanding that. Think about when you send an email or a text message to somebody, and then they're like, I can't believe they said that. And then you like misconstrue how this was meant to be said because you're reading it in a text or reading it in an email. It's so easy for that to happen because there's no tonality, there's no
Mhm.
expression. But when you record a video and you say a video, it's like this is how it was meant to be interpreted, and it's said exactly how you want. So it actually becomes a really powerful communication tool, which we could potentially talk about later. But it's really, really powerful in just like how you're able to then connect with those individuals as well as just have this better form of communication. And then from like the marketing side of things, so not just like that connection and communication, but the other thing to think about is the social element.
Mhm.
And how many of you guys remember Vine? That was really popular, right?
Yep.
It's huge. What happened to Vine? Doesn't exist anymore, right? What's popular now? TikTok, right?
Purely videos.
What's the commonality here? It's the medium. And so when people ask me like, "Hey, what social platform is best?" It's like that's going to continue to evolve and change. I
Mhm.
love when I present, I always make the joke like when I got on Facebook, my brother yelled at me and he said, "That's for college kids. You're not supposed to be on Facebook."
Mhm.
Oh, how the tables have turned. Now, the kids are not on Facebook. They're like, that's for old people. Right. And so that's the transition that happens with social media. But the medium itself, which is video, continues to be the most popular medium that people want to share, right? Video gets 1,200% more shares than text and images combined. So
Well,
it's
and it
this
plays
is what
better.
people want.
Social media actually favors video over other. So it's not just the matter of you being able to more effectively communicate with your intended audience. It also plays better. Reels do better, stories do better, shorts do better. In fact, kind of put it out there because I'm the SEO marketing geek for the last 20 years. Even Google prioritizes pages that have YouTube videos embedded on them over other pages with similar content. And because Google owns YouTube, it knows what the YouTube video is actually about, right? So the context of what you're trying to convey, coupled with and married with the connection, that as close to personal connection as you're going to get in a realistic amount. I doubt you're going to be able to get 3,000 people with that same level of conversation if you went and did it yourself, right? But you can have a video, even in a small town, get 3,000 views in a relative short amount of time for the life of that video. And all those conversations are meaningful conversations to the audience. And it helps you present yourself in a way that hopefully reflects your brand really well. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, you have an opportunity to get in front of so many more people because it grabs people's attention. They're not used to seeing, their cousin, their brother, their sister on video, especially if because it's not that common. I mean, I talk to a
Mm-hmm.
lot of my friends and I always ask them, especially like sometimes there's aspiring content creators and I'm like, "How often do you just talk to the camera on your stories?" And they're like, "Never." And these are people my age in their 30s that don't want to like do not talk to the camera. So it's not like a generational thing that I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people think it is. It's like there's just a lot of people that don't feel comfortable talking directly to the camera. But that's why it works so well. And to build off of Kevin, what you had said with the algorithm too, Facebook right now, the algorithm is terrible. Like if you're posting photos, like you're just gonna get like if you're posting stock photos, you're definitely getting like 10 people are maybe
Yeah.
seeing that post, if
Yep.
that much. But when you post a reel, it's now getting shown to more than just your audience. So that's like the misconception that people don't know about social media in general, specifically around Facebook, that when you post to your page, if no one shares it, the only people who are seeing it are people that follow your page, a
Mm-hmm.
fraction of those people. So you have 1,000 followers, you're lucky if 100 people saw that post. But with a
Yep.
reel, you have an opportunity to get in front of so many more people. And that's why people love TikTok, because it creates this opportunity for all creators to be able to get in front of so many more people that no other platform really was able to do before.
Yeah, broaden that audience quite a bit. All right, so I've heard you say it a few times, the why video. So I was going to ask what the first video someone should create is, and I think it might be the why video.
Yes.
So, like, just saying.
Yes, it is. You know what? And so because we've talked about that, I'll go with the second video. How about that?
Okay, there we go.
So the second video, and this is what I help my clients to create, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will love this. It doesn't require you to get on camera at all. I hear the cheers happening. I know, it's great. Hold on. So the second video that we do is actually getting caregiver testimonials
Mm.
and having them sell your organization. I know that caregiver recruitment is a huge aspect of this business, and you can't get more clients unless you get more caregivers. But you have to understand is that this is a sales game. You have to be selling to your caregivers in why your company is great. Because guess what? When they applied and they didn't show up, that's because they applied to 6 other companies and they chose them over you. And so if you're not actively selling, if you think that you can just put out an application and be like, but we have jobs and we're paying okay, like they should just come work for us. That's not how it works. They're looking at your social media, they're looking at your website, they're seeing who do they think is going to be the best company to work for.
Especially the top tier candidates. Like the top tier candidates do the research. So if that's who you want, you have to appeal to them, basically.
Right. I had one of my clients, I was talking to him and he's like, I don't have problems getting caregivers. It's like, I have problems getting good caregivers. I'm like, yes, that is 100% what we're trying to do. And so if you think about how you are as a shopper, right? What do you do when you go to Amazon? You go to Amazon and you look at the reviews and you're like, oh man, how are the reviews? Oh, they got 100 reviews or 1,000 reviews. You don't even need to look that much. You're like, yep, 5 stars. I'm going with this company. And so the same thing can work with your caregiver testimonials. Is basically what we do is we get 4 to 6 of your top caregivers to give a testimonial, and there's a whole process like interview and questions to ask. And then we put it all together in this one amazing video that just cuts together all of the best things that they said. And so it becomes your top caregivers talking about why you're the best company to work for. And to give you a little sneak peek, I'll even give you some of the questions because I'm sure you're like, oh my God, what is he going to tell us what questions to ask? Okay. I'm going to give you the golden question right here. So the first one, it's kind of a 2-part question, is what was it like before working with us? And what is it like now? And the reason why this is so impactful is it showcases transformation, where they're at to where they want to be. And so if they're saying, yeah, I worked for this company and I felt like I was underappreciated and they didn't really communicate well and they were kind of rude, but now I'm working for you and I love it and it's amazing and the communication is great and I don't feel like a number. Anyone who feels like this person now feels like that you are the solution to their problem. How are you the solution to these caregiver prospects, to their problems? And if you can master that and determine how to sell it, and a caregiver testimonial is a way to do that, to showcase that you are the best person to work for.
Awesome. So another way that I've seen videos work really well with home care owners is kind of connecting in their community with referral partners. What have been some ways that you've seen referral partners and home care agencies find more success together through videos?
Absolutely. Yeah. So as we talked on earlier a little bit about, the algorithm and how sometimes it's tough organically to get the traffic that you want to reach. And so when you have somebody else that's sharing your content, you're now more likely to get more views and get in front of more people. So when you showcase your referral partners, you now have the opportunity for them to want to share what it is that you are talking about in this particular topic. Now, what we like to focus on is education. It's not about, hey, like, what do you do? Tell us how you help people. I avoid that like the plague. I'm just not about this like selling aspect. How can we provide as much value as possible?
Hmm.
And I'll use an example of what one of my clients did that was just pure gold. So, and I give some credit to myself, but he did an amazing job to this process where basically it was assisted living week. And so what he did was he had each assisted living that he works with, 5 different ones. He might even had 7 actually. But the strategy behind this was rather than asking them like, "Hey, what do you do?" right? And then they all say the exact same thing, is each individual answered a different question about assisted living. And so
Wow.
it was like, hey, what is level of care? Hey, what are the, different types of assisted livings, right? And basically just had all of this value that if someone watched all of them, they're not getting overlapping content. They're getting all new great content. And then also goes into like YouTube SEO based on what people are searching because they're answering common questions that people don't know about assisted living. And you can do this with hospice agencies, and you can do it with your home health agencies. You can do it with elder law attorneys, and just anyone that your referral partners are, having them come on, be the expert, showcase them.
Yep.
And then now they're going to be like, yes, share this. Like I had one of my clients, it was great. She just did, it just got posted recently. She did a video with a placement agency, one of her top referral partners. And what was cool is we actually took her main video, which was 5 minutes long, and then repurposed it. And we turned that 5 minutes into 5 1 minute versions because she answered like a bunch of questions in like less than a minute. So we had this great 5 minute video about placement agencies and everything that they do and what you should know about it. But then we were able to create all these 1 minute TikToks, reels, shorts, all from that 5 minute video. So what was now 1 minute, one video was now 6 different videos that we're able to share that now her referral partner is going to share every single reel that gets posted, which there was 5 of them from this one particular video.
So just to kind of let a cat out of a bag here, we're kind of doing that right here. Like Nick is one of our research partners. He refers to us. We refer to him. We've talked about each other's events or other things with home care agencies and needs at different stages. So we're basically doing what we just talked about for the last little bit right now. Doing a video on content that we know will help home care agencies we work with. It helps home care agencies that Nick works with. This is a keen example. Now, this is a little bit longer form, right, than that because we're covering several topics in this one video. But just like Nick said, if I wanted to, I could chop this up into sound bites all over the place and put them all over the internet. And I'll probably do that to tease the long form version of this. So you're kind of watching this happen right now in the moment. So, and I know we're going to talk quite a bit here and we're getting close to wrapping up for those of you that are watching, but you could do this. You could sit down for half an hour, do a lot of one takes, a lot of stuff, go through tons of conversation, and then just whether it's in Canva or if you have more fancy editing tools like we have, you can just get it chopped up and ready to go. So that brings to my next question, because a lot of people have this, and Clint, who from Home Care Ops, and I get this a lot from home care owners trying to look at doing video, and they ask like, what do I need to do to get started? And I know I have some fancy stuff in front of me. I know you've got some fancier stuff in front of you. But what does a home care owner really need to have to just get started so they don't feel like they have to have full production equipment to make this happen? Like, what's the basics? What do they need to have to get started?
I'll go over the first bare minimum. Number 1. This is all you need. This little phone. Oh, it's amazing. It's got this amazing camera on it. Even if you got like a iPhone 5, it still has video on there that you can use to.
Even if you have an Android like me, you can.
Yeah. Oh, we can't talk anymore. Only iPhone people. All right. Big iPhone guy. No, but yeah, it doesn't matter what smartphone. All the smartphones have really great cameras, and all I recommend though is that you just record horizontally. It's common. A lot of people are just used to doing it vertically, but you really want to do it horizontally so it looks better across all platforms. And then you can just crop it for, reels, for TikToks, but you can't go backwards. You can't go from vertical to horizontal, but you can go horizontal to vertical. And that's the trick that people miss. Now, if you want to take it one step further, that I find, because a lot of times, sometimes people, even my clients, they'll be like, hey, I'm thinking about getting this like fancy camera and all this stuff. And I'm like, don't do it. Don't get a fancy camera. Don't get a green screen. You don't need any of that. You're going to pay an arm and a leg for all this stuff. What I recommend is you go to Amazon and you get a webcam.
Hmm.
And if you get a nice webcam, right? Some of them shoot in like 4K. Like my webcam shoots in 4K, but really you only need like a 1080. I generally recommend people to look at popular brands. So like the brand I usually recommend is Logitech. So you get a
Hmm.
nice webcam. Then you get a microphone. Doesn't have to be a big microphone like this, although this microphone was like $70. So, I paid a little extra for this fancy
Yeah.
arm, but you don't need that either. They have like lapel mics that you can get that attach to your shirt that plug into your computer for like $20. So from that standpoint, right, some webcams, 75 to maybe 125 depending on where you're going. I think my webcam was like 170, but again, I got the 4K. And then, so like less than $200, you can get everything that you need to make it where you have good visuals and good audio. If you want to get some lighting, you can definitely get some lighting, but there's a lot of tricks. Like right now, I do have a ring light, but I'm actually well lit because I have a window in front of me. And that's one of those things that if you just use natural light and record in front of a window, you're going to get that natural light. You do want to be well lit. But again, there's like
Yeah.
ring lights for $25 or, so many different ring lights. So those are the three things: lighting, audio, and visual. If you can do those three, and again, I've had my clients where they like didn't buy a microphone and still turned out great. Like you don't need all of this other stuff to get started, but it can help to just like improve the quality just a little bit because you just want to make sure. To me, the microphone is actually the most important thing,
Yeah.
just so that
Especially when
people
you're
can
out,
hear you.
especially when you're outside. If you can just get a little microphone, even if it's a little handhold, the Bluetooth to your phone, or it's a lapel one like that you're just
Yeah.
showing, like
Yeah, I
that'll
got like
certainly
this
help.
one. This goes into the bottom. I actually just bought this one recently. I have another one, but I bought this one because I wanted to try it because it actually has like, I haven't tried it yet, but it has an attachment. So it
Yep.
goes near your phone, but then also can go into USB. I
I
don't know if
just
it
bought the
works yet.
exact same one, I think, and I haven't had a chance to use it yet. But
I
it's
know.
like
I want to
it's
test
just
it
like the one
out.
I got.
Yeah, I want to see how it does just so I can like better recommend it to my clients, but I didn't want
Yeah.
to recommend something that I hadn't used myself, so that was an important element. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of really cool like iPhone, Android microphones that you can get that attach that's all Bluetooth. And I went to a conference and actually attended and did testimonials using my iPhone and that
Hmm.
microphone. It looked like it was
Yes.
professionally
Looks full
made.
production.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once I like had my team edit it and it came done, it was like you would have never known that it was like shot on an iPhone, you know? And that's really the power. I've even gone to conferences and made like highlight videos straight from my iPhone, editing it on my iPhone, transitions, boom, next thing you know, they're throwing it on the blue screen, the screen to recap the entire event.
It's just, I think it's just a matter of just getting started, right? It can be really simple or really complex. It's really up to you as a home care owner, how many hurdles and obstacles you want to put in your way to just getting some video out there and doing things. And it's a great way of documenting. It's a great way of capturing a moment and experience more so than just straight up photography. So um, one thing I've done quite a bit is I'll just sit there and video, but then also tap on the picture as well too, so I get both at the same time on certain things I'm doing.
It's
Like
a
if I'm
great
doing stuff with
feature.
my kids, I will record and just tap on the photo. So I've got pictures, I've got recording of my kids doing their thing. I've got pictures at the same time. So sometimes it's just a matter of what you bring in your arsenal.
Yeah.
Kind of like final thoughts and wrap it up, Nick. I'm going to give my final thought on this, and I shared it with you before we started this here. And then you share your final thought, something that's kind of pushed home care owners in the right direction for doing this. My thought is I grew up 80s, 90s, where you saw the overly polished commercials. Some of them are actually coming back to life on TikTok with people remembering the 80s. And it's so overproduced, so overdone. And I've seen a lot of home care owners get stuck on, well, I have to have a script. I have to have perfect lighting. I have to have a camera guy. I have to have all this stuff happen. I have to say it perfectly. Otherwise, what am I doing it for in the first place, right? And something I've shared over and over again with home care owners that get stuck on that is I just remind them that this is an industry filled with so much humanity, right? The experience is full of humanity and compassion. In this video, don't get so far lost in the production that you strip the humanity from the content, because it's in that humanity, seeing you, getting to understand you and know you, which you saw a lot of us here in this last little bit. You saw me gaff a little bit. You saw me pause a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, that's how you are able to better introduce yourself to people, is through really seeing you and really understanding what it's like to communicate with you and work with you. Because I guarantee you, if they see you all polished and prim and you're perfect in that video, and then they come and get to see you and it's a disconnect, that's not going to be the experience you want for your brand either. Right? It's like going to a dating website and you see the picture and all the makeup, and then you go on the date and you're like, what? So, right? You don't want to do that with your video. So make it human, make it you. That's my big thing, is that offer any advice if you're looking at videos, and you're going to be so much more relaxed that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. In this world, it's like this authenticity. I mean, if you think of like, as you were talking, I was thinking about like Mark Cuban, who's just like takes out his phone and records. Like these people who are billionaires are recording content on their phone, professional athletes. Like they're not making productions either, even though they have the money. So I think sometimes people think like, oh, if I have a phone video, that they're going to think I'm like a lower level and I don't have as big a business or whatever, which actually leads into, I think, the most important point here, because, the tactical stuff, like the cameras and all that stuff, is great. But if you're listening to this and you are horrified about the judgment of others, then the equipment or the lighting or all that stuff doesn't matter.
Mhm.
And that's really what this comes down to, is that so many people, everyone, business owners, just the world in general, is so worried about the judgment and the opinions of others. And it is that thought, those fears, that are holding so many people back from truly making a greater impact on this world. And if we can overcome that worry about just being on camera, because it's not about being on video that people have the problem with. They'll happily film themselves as long as they know that it's not getting published anywhere. But as soon as it's getting published somewhere, oh my gosh, no, 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 don't do it, right? And I get it. I get it. I've been there. I remember when I was publishing my first video and I had headphones on. I just finished a workout. I was wearing this like horrible white t-shirt. My hair is all over the place. And I watched it 3 times and was like, should I post it? Should I not post it? Should I post it? Should I not post it? And I just did it. And I posted it. And then I had all these comments. People were like, oh yeah, this is a really great thought. And all I was doing was talking about a podcast that I had just listened to. But it was through that I got this like positive encouragement of just being like, okay. And then I did it more and I did it more. And I just started doing a video every single week. And a lot of times people ask me, Nick, how are you so good at video? Well, I've been doing a video at least every single week, in some cases every day, since 2016. So I'm approaching a decade of making a video every single week, if not more. And
Mhm.
so I'll leave you with this, my favorite quote. It's, in order to be great, you must first be good. In order to be good, you must first be bad. You're never going to be amazing at something you've never done before.
Yep.
And video is just like anything else. If you put in the reps and you put in the practice and you give it a try, you will get better. Same thing with public speaking and leadership and growing your business and marketing and sales. You just have to do it.
Just got to put that camera in front of me and get going, right? Just got to tell the story. So invites here, start on something for yourself, right? Share your why, do it a few times, rehearse it a little bit, but then put it out there. Share your why. You don't need to have a pro to get started with that. You might find yourself at a point where you want a pro to help coach you and improve that delivery and expand a strategy. But right now, just do something. Put it up on social media. That's a quick little easy invite just to get something started. I know Nick's got a lot of stuff. He's a wealth of knowledge on this, and we'll have more from him. Homecaps.com will have some blog posts occasionally where because he's a video guy, we'll probably do a video version of a blog post here and there with just different breakdowns of aspects of this, because I know we covered quite a bit here. So watch for him and just some breakdown of information. If you are looking for someone to give you some coaching and some guidance in there, we'll have some details on how you can reach Nick. I know he has a lot of free resources as well too through his website and through his social media connections. So maybe there's something on there you can dig and explore and find that fits what you're looking for right now. So just want to invite you to do that. Nick, really appreciate you taking the time here for this video. I know this is something a lot of home care owners I've seen have been pretty reluctant for, but once they get it and they get that bug and they get going, they see the outcome, it's energizing and it's so exciting to see. And appreciate your energy you bring to that as well too for the ones you're working with. If anything, you're just a big ball of energy with video and strategy. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love this. I love the opportunity to speak and share. And so thank you, Kevin. Thank you all for listening if you made it this far. And I'm here to help. Any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out.
I appreciate it.